Hello and welcome to my latest video about metaSort. metaSort is our latest application that allows you to organize hundreds, thousands, or even a million of pictures and photos you have lying around on your hard drive, even on multiple hard drives. I know over time you amass a huge amount of pictures and images, and then at some point you just gave up and they're everywhere spread on your hard drive. It's nearly impossible to find the picture when you need it. metaSort helps you in an instant. It will organize your mess and you will be able to find any picture, any image in an instant, and based on nearly everything parameter you can think of. For example, you can organize by date. When was the picture taken? You can organize by name. What was the name of the picture? You can even organize by area or region where you took the picture. So you can organize by street name even, or by city, by country, whatever you can think of, you can use metaSort to organize your picture. And the great thing is you can retrieve it as well. So you could retrieve your picture by just asking for, show me all pictures from Vancouver. Show me all pictures from Ottawa. There is no limit how you organize and retrieve your pictures. However, we also added some really powerful tools like no one else has. For example, we added tools that allow you to read nearly every image format that is out there. You can read JPEG, PNG, TIFF, GIF, all kinds of images, even the raw file formats. And I did several videos about raw file format and why you want to shoot in RAW if you're a professional photographer. Just check the link up there and you can see and check out how raw files work. We have a huge tool set in metaSort. And one we are going to talk about today is our Collage toolset that allows you to create based on the organization of your photos, images, and the retrieval functions, the powerful retrieval functions. You can create a collage in no time at all. And I'm going to show you how this works. And best of all, metaSort is so freaking cheap, you just won't believe it. And it's on the Microsoft Store. You can download a free version. You can use the free version with 500 images, try out every function, every feature you see here. And then if you like it, just get it for a few bucks. It's just ridiculous cheap. Let's move on to the actual product, and I'm going to switch to my work screen. And we are now going to explore how we can create collages in metaSort. I won't show you all the other options and tools because, as I already mentioned, it's a rich tool set. We're diving right into the collage. Here I have an album. I named this album Collage Maker for the video so that I can just pick some pictures, images, and we can work with them. I'll just click the Collage Maker. That's an album, by the way. That's not our collage tool. Every album has the option for a collage. So let me just show you what we have here. So an album, we can retrieve all kinds of images when we look for it or search for it. We can get JPEG images, pictures that are in JPEG format. We can get all the images we have, and we get the count of the images and all kinds of information. We can get the portrait format images already inbuilt. When you get metaSort, there's a lot of options where you can retrieve your images and find images in your collection. Like, for example, photography styles, animals, architecture, landscape, outdoors, sports, street, and so on. You get the idea. Let's just keep all the images for now. Let's start with our collage. I'll open up the collage view. Working with a metaSort is kind of, you have a short learning curve, but it's very simple and I'll show you how it works. The first thing you want to do is go actually into our collage tool. That's the little button up here. That will bring us into the collage editor. Now we are in the collage editor and no longer in the album editor. When I wanted to create a new collage, I just go back to this icon that I used, and it works like a toggle. When I toggle again, we're back in our image display, in our gallery or album. When I click again, we are back in the collage editor. So keep that in mind, left click, toggles back and forth. And now in metaSort, every action, every tool is initiated by a right click. When I right click on this icon here, I get a menu that tells me new collage. So what we are going to do, I would suggest we do a two-phase approach. First approach is we are freestyling. We just mess around and create our own collage from zero, from scratch. I'll just choose new collage. I'll give it a name. It's always a good idea to give it a proper name. So I'll just name that my collage. And we can see it's here. I just typed in here and it shows me this. Now I click on the newly created collage. And the first thing you should do, and that's very important, is decide on your image ratio. Do you want a landscape or do you want a portrait or any other scale? So the ratio, the image ratio is important. We are going to choose something like 1280 by 1024. The important part is that's just for the image ratio. I could choose 300 by 220. Would be the same space we have for the images. And that will be also our output, image output. We can change that anytime and the collage will be adjusted accordingly. So for now, I'll just go with that. So the next thing we want to do or create is probably we want to place some images. So I go into my paper here and right click, choose new image. And here we go. This is my first image. Let me just put one here and start maybe like that. I'll pick another one. Maybe I want a portrait. And let me just pick one here. And as I mentioned, we're just winging it right now. So I'm not spending immense amount of time to get a fancy, amazing layout out of here. I'm just going as I want and see fit here. So I'll pick the other image. That's it. That's my layout we want to go with. So how do we get the pictures there? And what can we do? Let's start with the first picture. I just drag and drop first picture in here. We can move it with this icon. I just left click on this icon and this will allow me move up, down. And I can also zoom in and out. We're going to use these tools, I guess, a little bit more when we fill all this. Now I want something in my center as the hero shot. How about this one? Or I'll just drag this. Oh yeah, that might be a picture. Yeah, we can move it left and right a little bit, just a bit, but we have already the perfect ratio here. So that looks good. Let's do some pictures that would work like here. So here we have the intakes. Let's move another nice picture up here. Now that I see this picture, I might want this as my hero. Yeah, I think that's better. And I'll just put that one up here. So we have the picture here. And let's move through here. Put this picture up here. Let's move that. Let's put that here. And this is how we can do that. But now I'm struggling to find another portrait format. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go back and say, okay, show me all the portrait formats. I'm going to just select those. And now when I go back to our collage editor, we have only the selected pictures here. So I just chose here, as you saw, portrait format pictures, selected them, and there we go. So let me just move that here. That looks good. I love that. Probably I like this better. Yeah. I think I like this better. And now we can just go back to all images, go back to our collage and choose one last picture. So by the way, this was the Tuesdays in Victoria. So I did a lot of shots of these hot rods or old timers. Now that we have all our pictures in our layout, we can do some modifications. For example, we can add a frame. So what I'm doing right now is I left click and move the mouse, drag the mouse. So we can adjust our frame here, and we can even adjust the frame color. So we could, for example, use a different frame color, something like that. But I think I like the white one much better. So I'll set it back to white. So now I have these white frames. And now if I wanted to see, because right now we are just working with the preview images, I'll create a real preview that will get me the full resolution I've set here. As I mentioned, we can increase this resolution to anything we like. But now I got this nice collage of pictures here. We can do more if we wanted to. Let's say I'll switch back here. So now I can switch back between my preview and edit mode. So I'm back in the editing mode, and let me just do something fancy. Let's say, let me just turn that off. How about we change this image out, and we say we want to unset the image. So I remove the image from this frame. And now there's a different option. When you right click, you get several options where you can organize the Z level, size adjustments, align things, and so on. But what I want is I want to use an external image. So a picture or image I don't have in my database. However, I can grab it from wherever on the hard drive I find this image. I created a special image with an alpha channel. So let me just pick this picture here. I have an alpha channel, so this is transparent. So now what we can do is just create another preview. And here we go. There we have our preview. However, that's not too spectacular, and I don't like the gray. So what can we do? I'll go back here to my editing mode. Let's just change the paper color. I want the paper color to be white. Let's just choose the white paper color. And I also want to do something really fancy. Let me just resize that. And how about we rotate this guy here? Oh yeah, I love that. That looks cool. So now when we do a preview, we can see all is clear. We respect the alpha channel and everything. Now we could, if we wanted to, just add a drop shadow. I'll just check the box, give it a little bit of size and make it a little bit stronger, 80. And now let me just go back to the editor and we'll do another preview rendering. And here we have our image cut out with a shadow. And again, we can work on all these other shadows as well. But for now, I think you got the idea what you can do with this amazing tool with our collage tool. You can arrange your own layouts, pictures, images. You can move them around. You can do all kinds of things. Let me just move back to our main view here. Let's remove this. I'll just right click on the collage and say, okay, I want to remove. What if I don't want to always do my own layouts? Great, you asked. metaSort comes with a lot of presets. And based on these presets, you can really create all kinds of layouts. And the great thing is you can use the basic layout at any time, where you can just pick a layout you like. Let's say something like this. Right click, create collage from layout. Once more, give it a good name. My collage. Here we have. I'll left click on it. And now we have here our layout already set and perfect, all aligned. We can just fill in the pictures. Our favorite here. Yeah, let's do that. Again, we're looking for the pictures this one. So as you can see, we have in a few seconds or minutes, we created our own collage. And I'm now going to show you how you can modify a preset collage. Okay, what we got here is we got a pre-made layout that was locked. We could only fill in pictures. However, what if we wanted to adjust or change an already existing layout? Let me just delete that again, and I'll show you how that works. It's pretty simple. Let's just pick maybe this layout again. Yeah, that's a good idea. Out, don't forget to name it. And then we go in here. What we want to do now is modify this layout. So you see when I click here, I can't move anything or edit anything because it's locked. Here we see on the right hand side, we see all the tools we have in our layout editor. For example, we have a snap raster, we can change that. Switch between the preview, we have no preview yet, and the editing mode. And also we have this option here, mark all files. When I click here, we mark all files, and then I can also right click on this. And here's the lock and unlock. Once more, I can select all files. It's a toggle, unselect, select all files, and right click, unlock. Now we get all the tools we need. Let me just unselect those. And for example, I want to remove this one. I'll remove this one and I just stretch this one out. And as you can see, we have the base of our layout. By unlocking the layout, I can just now select them again and do right click and lock them again, or do whatever I like to do with it. We have the same deal. We just drag and drop our pictures in here. And by the way, we can see here that is a little bit not level. When I go with my mouse to this menu, this dash here, I can rotate the picture. So let me just rotate the picture so that it's level, something like that. And now let's just zoom in a little bit. And there we go. Now it's level. So you can do even a little bit of fixing, or you can do some funny things as well, like turning it like in any angle you like. So that's also good. And you can always rotate back to 0. And then it's in the basic alignment you had. Let's just put that in here. Again, left click here, move your mouse. You can adjust the picture, the frame we want to have. And this would be for zooming in and zooming out. So we could do something like that. So now again, we have our layout done, ready to work further on it, like giving it some frame thickness. I always like these thinner ones like this. That looks really good. Now you saw you can use the preset layouts. Here we have the layouts. You just scroll with your scroll mouse left and right, or use the scroll bar down here, and you can choose anyone and adjust it if you want. Another way to create a collage is procedural. A procedural collage is you select some images and let the PC do the rest. So let's just select some pictures. How about we get a collage of 32 pictures. So I just randomly selected 32 pictures. When I go here, so what we do now is, instead of using this collage, we are using our selected pictures and create a procedural collage. I'll just press the preview button and here we go. Here's our collage, our pile of pictures. And yes, we can adjust some random rotation. We can have some more rotation. So that's a variation. Every picture will get a different angle. And we can also change the minimum and maximum size of the collage and preview again. And you saw it created a new collage with smaller and bigger pictures. And it's all automatic. So that's one way to do it. And again, you can select all your pictures with select the images. For example, you can have your holiday or a day in this city, a day in LA, just all the pictures, create a pile. Or if you want it, you can create a grid. And the grid allows you to just decide, I want 4 by 4 or 8 by 4. Now we do the preview. And remember, we had 32 images selected. So we get that. And that doesn't look really nice. So we can have, please force this into the procedural way. And now we get this grid pattern or grid alignment. We can reduce maybe the frame thickness a little bit. And also we can add a little bit of a gap if we wanted to do that. Now we have a frame and a gap. I can increase the gap between the pictures. Let's see how that works. And maybe now we can increase our frame size and increase the gap as well. And the great thing is it will automatically calculate everything. Another option we have is the river. Let's see what the river does. And here we see the river looks like a pile. And this is because we have these extreme values. So let's just say I don't want any rotation at all. And let's try again. And river will fit. Let me just remove the gap and just keep the frame thickness. Let's try again. And there we go. Let's reduce the frame thickness even more. So, and as you can see, the river will try to fit all the pictures depending on the aspect ratio. So this is a really nice collage type, and we can have that horizontal or vertical. Let's choose this one. Here we go. I like that even better. That looks really good. Especially this row, you can see it squeezes all in one row, which is really nice. And then our last thing we have is our celebrity. I will do it with 32 pictures now, but it doesn't make sense. You will see in a second. Let me just choose the celebrity. So what it does is it takes the pictures you've selected, has one hero picture in the middle. That's your first picture you pick, and then places all around the pictures. It makes more sense with less pictures because it squeezes in here. However, sometimes it looks cool. You can choose whatever you want. For that to work really well, let me just go back to this and just deselect all the pictures we have. Let me just select those, and I think 8 is a good number for the celebrity. Let's see how it goes. These are 8 pictures. We can add one more picture. So let's just add maybe 12 pictures. Let's see how that goes. That's much better. With a little bit of trial and error, it's a fast way. You can create standard collages like that. Very easy. Just select your pictures, done. These are all the tools we have. We also have different ways to handle text, for example. You can have a label. Let me just bring up this collage here, where we have a label. Let me just preview that one. And there you can see we have our text, some graphics here. So you can do that as well with the label option, where you just in the layout pick the label option down here, where we have the text, font, color of the font, outline color, and so on. Very powerful features and very useful stuff. Let me just maybe go back to our other collage we have here. How do we get a nice preview of our collage? We can get a preview image so that we know what we did by right-clicking and choosing make thumbnail. And there we have our thumbnail. Now we know, okay, that's this collage, and it's obvious from the thumbnail what we did here, and also the aspect ratio. Now let's explore the last feature. That's our passe-partout. Let me just turn that on. And the passe-partout allows us to create, as the name says, a passe-partout around our image. and we have some controls, but it creates a very interesting effect. Here we go. And right now we have a really large border. So I would probably say on the top we want 5, on the left we want 5, on the top we want 5, on the right we want some space below to write a text or whatever we want, and maybe just a tiny bit smaller radius and probably more softness. Let's try how this looks like. And there we have it. So we might even want to change the color and try again. That doesn't look nice. Let's just pick medium gray and try again. That's beautiful. Okay, now I think we covered all the tools we have for creating collages out of your image selections. And as I mentioned, you can select birds, cats, dog, whatever you organize, however you want. You can create albums for every situation and choose from there and select pictures, create automatically your collages, or go into detail when you click here, create based on a preset, or create your own from scratch by right-clicking, new collage. It creates a new one. Give it a name, by collage, and there you go. You start with a blank paper, and even if you have a selection of pictures, they're already in here. So now we have 32 pictures we can modify and place all around here. And don't forget, you can also have pictures where we have external pictures that you can create in Photoshop, do something there, and just use the option where we say set external image. That's about it. That's all our collage tool right now. We are still working on it. Please, we want feedback. Give us feedback. What should we enhance? What can we do better? What feature is missing? And as I said, we are working on metaSort right now. You can get it right now from the Microsoft Store. Download it, try it out. It's free. It allows you to try out everything with 500 pictures. There you can see, get a feeling how it works. And we would love your feedback. Just leave a comment in the YouTube comment section, and we try to answer, and for sure we read every comment we see there. Let me just switch back to my main screen. Once more, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found this interesting, and if you like it, please leave a like and subscribe. This helps us, as usual, like every YouTuber. It helps us a lot, and it also helps us in continuing developing metaSort. And it's a real powerful tool. The things you just saw is just a tiny bit. Check out our other videos we have. I'll put some in the video description. Check those videos out as well. It shows you how powerful metaSort is. Thank you again for watching this video. Goodbye.